Usman Ali. As Dr. Balu told, I studied here from 56 to 62, 6 years. And I have so much to tell you about my teacher. His full name appears to be a little bigger because we used to call him S. Crispin Devadas. What that S stands for, I think the junior Devadas will tell you. I think that I will talk to you about the Crispin Devadas I saw. I saw him go down as a teacher when I was in the university class, a dreadful teacher, because right in the first practical class, he was Vardaman, right in the first practical class, we were supposed to copy down some drawings from the slides from a microscope. When my turn came, I went to the microscope, looked at what I should draw. It was all cloudy, hazy, copper. Then I tried to adjust the fine adjustment. Immediately, a hand came from behind me, took my record notebook, and flung it through the window. I was about to hit the fellow. I thought it was a classmate of mine, but I saw my teacher. He told, "No monkeying with a microscope." I told him, "I have not monkeyed, I have adjusted the fine adjustment." He told, "Do you know anything about the microscope?" I told I had handled microscopes before. When that was with a modern medicine doctor who supported me morally to do my higher education after my school. That was Dr. John. Then he told, "Get out." I went out. I did not know which day to go and collect my record notebook. I was fresh to the campus. And the next day, it was Mr. Moses, our highly respected attendant, who told, "Empa, record notebook போட்டு போயிட்டியே, எடுக்காம போயிட்டியே." I told, "Padi theriyadanga." He told me, "Sir, nalla sare, hittuvaru, nalla padichukko." That attendant had assessed my teacher very correctly. I came to the next practical class. She looked at me and smiled. That was unusual. See, a fellow commits a mistake, you chide him, you forget it. Because he's after all a student. People may tell that Devadas was a short-tempered fellow. Who is not short-tempered? You should not be ill-tempered. Clear. There is a fine line between being short-tempered and being ill-tempered. And after that, he used to appreciate me for good work from the way in which I maintained the record notebook. Though I was in the university, he called me one day to his room. He was living in the St. Thomas's. He showed me his MSc record notebook. I was simply astonished. The drawings were so fine. There was no erasing or redrawing anywhere. Then he told, "You are very good with the pencil. I want to see you as a student who scores also well." Because by that time he has found out who is Usman Ali. I studied in the adjacent campus, Carly High School. Carly High School is known to produce what? You can see from my appearance. Anyway, I told him, "Yes, sir." And after university, I joined BSc Botany. I could have gone to zoology or something else. Physics, chemistry, where they scored much better. That is because I chose Botany just because I was very fond of this Christian College campus. Even as a student in the Carly High School, I used to wander here, collect wild fruits, here. And in those days there were no deer here. There were plenty of rabbits and plenty of birds. It was a very fine campus with a very fine, what shall I call it, ground flora, which is now very conspicuously absent. And in the BSc, he used to take us, he was still a Devan, assisting Gaius Law, who was one of our teachers. And in the fieldwork classes, Crispin took special interest in every fellow who used to avoid looking into the details of the flower morphology of the plant. Mr. Law wasn't like that. He was above all this. He thought he was a great military man and acted like one till he retired. Anyway, what I am trying to tell you is this. Though these two people were related, they were from the same area, their mental makeup of looking at students was diametrically opposite. Law will not call a weak student and advise him. Devadas was different. And when I came to the MSc classes, there is so much to tell in between what happened in these 3 years. Well, we will go to the MSc period. He used to make very fine illustrations on the blackboard. He taught us a bit of anatomy for some time and a little of embryology also, because in those days teachers were very few, specialists were very few. And in this 3 years preceding to my coming to the MSc, I understood that he had immense respect for the colossal called K.R. This is not just because he was the head of the department. I understood. It is not because of that fear. It is because of the admiration that he developed for Venkatasubbanu for coming to the department at least by 6:30 in the morning. Clear. And also going on field work to collect study material from the field for the students. Mr. Lal was not like that. I'm telling you the difference between these two teachers who taught me so-called botany, taxonomy. And sometimes Devadas used to tell library movement one and we take a to go. It's exceptionally a very good treatment given by Devadas to Usman Ali. Why I am pointing out this is this. I found in him a quality where he has a natural urge to help people who are weak. He knows that I am weak in English because I come from a Tamil medium school, and he took equal interest in one of my senior classmates, Dr. T.K. Bhatt. You know, Bhatt means the granny. You know what is Ali? Here, Usman Ali. He had no feeling of that barrier. It was just the same thing that was with Venkateswaran. Here, I think in a previous gathering I have told you, some of you might have heard, that Venkateswaran gave me a certificate telling Usman Ali is every inch a gentleman. I recommend him for any job entailing heavy responsibilities. When I asked for a certificate from Devadas, you know what he told? If I give one, it will not have any weight. Okay, my good wishes will support you wherever you are. See, he does not want to dilute the weight of the certificate of Dr. Venkateswaran. Clear? Nowadays, if anybody asks me for a certificate, I will give 2-3 certificates. Anyway, we will come to a few points like this. I told you that he is short-tempered, even now, but never ill-tempered. People think of him as a shy creature, but he was not actually shy. He never shied away from any responsibility. He knew his strength, and at the same time he wanted to give opportunities to others. Here, by being not shy and aggressively, what shall I call it? Grab other people's opportunities. He was not for that. And then I told you he was in the St. Thomas's. I used to go to his room along with Dr. Keshav. When we were discussing our field work, our class work, in general departmental work, there will be always a very, very weak streak of cinema music emanating from this small little transistor radio. Once again, another Venkateswaran. If you go to Venkateswaran's residence, at any time there will be a radio on, very, very low volume with classical music. Here is a man who keeps his radio at the same volume. Clear? That is his company when he studies. So also with Venkateswaran. So somehow I found that so many things in common to these good teachers. And in the department he has certain limiting factors. His own relative, Mr. Lal, was not supportive in the later period. Somehow he shied away from extending his support to Devadas. This might not have been noticed by others, but because I was closer to Crispin Devadas, I could notice these things. Somehow, he was trying to help, not exactly trying, actually he helped Dr. Usman Ali in his work, which was not the case with some of the other teachers. Lal never used to come before time to the classes, never to the lab. And we had one great tall man, Tampan. He also was just a teacher. And as a student, I don't have any attachment to these people other than student-teacher relationship, just with the class level. And then Dr. J.C. told about his photography. That caught up with him because of his exposure to the contraction of archaeological importance that Venkateswaran was handling. In those days, things were very precious. Sensitive things would not be allowed to be handled by people who did not show real interest. Crispin's exposure to photography, exactly microphotography, was initiated by Dr. Venkateswaran. And then later on, when I saw him somewhere in the 70s, early 70s, he was taking pictures in the dark room for taking classes. He tried to copy something from a textbook. A picture, an illustration. But to his annoyance, what was printed on the other side of the paper was showing up on the screen. At that time I entered. He told, "Check, nonsense. It is showing up on the screen." Then I told, "I will help you in at least minimizing it. What will you give me?" He told, "Don't try to do anything. I make the picture as it is after some time." Because the lamp was hot. In the meanwhile, I took a white paper and a carbon paper. Carbon paper, that's black, no? I kept it underneath that figure that is below that sheet and asked him, "Which will suit you?" That to select. Then he told, "Man, how did you get this idea?" I told him the same idea that I learned from the scientific classes. You told me, using substandard stationery, the drawing on the other side will show on this side. The same thing. He was very much thankful to you. That's a nice idea. And then he used to do microtoning work with great precision. He excelled even Venkateswaran in these things. Venkateswaran, because he was an embryologist, he was tuned to this fine work. But here, my teacher had to prepare slides for anatomy particularly. Anatomy of the pteridophytes. Pteridophyte tissue is very obstinate, very difficult. One, it will be very soft. The adjacent tissue will be rock hard. You slice it, it will come in two portions. So he used to come very early in the morning after making these things into wax blocks. Very early in the morning he used to come because there was no air conditioning facility then. By 6:30 he will finish his work. Early morning the wax will be hard. After 9 o'clock it will get softer. No? He used to do this. So I introduced use of ice. You put the knife also into ice. Here, till then fellows were using only this wax block put into ice. I thought both at the same temperature you slice to work. And then when I showed him before the examinations, very beautiful slides for submission for the examination. No? He told, Dave, என்னுடைய slide நீ எப்படி எடுத்த? I told I didn't take your slide. He told, yes. கணக்கெல்லாம் சரியா தான். Nobody has stolen. Then how did you get this? He told, every morning after you finish your work, I will wait, go to the dustbin, collect your discarded wax blocks. From that I used to make. Clear, I had my own methods of rendering any material amenable to fine sectioning. He asked me, how did you manage? I showed him how I managed. He was immensely thankful. A teacher is supposed to correct his students, chide his student when he wastes his learning time. That is not short-tempered. Any sincere father or a brother will do it. And here the teacher does it. You have to be thankful to him. And then I left the college. I left means what? I had to leave. Here. But still I feel that I am a student here. After I left, I went to Bangalore for a year. I went there as an entomologist here. That's because of my good work with the DSc ancillary zoology. Then I thought I should become a great plant scientist. Resigned that lucrative post and came here. In 62, 500 rupees was great salary. Plus 25 rupees per day as allowance was still bigger. Somehow I came and I think I did the right thing because Crispin Devadas told me, that is not your primary study, that is not your main area of competence. He was right. And when I came here, I joined a Government of India laboratory situated in Adayar in those days in a private Indian medicine factory. By that time, I was close to Professor Swami also. One giant here, Venkatasuban, another fellow, Sir Swami. I built up my laboratory with material equipment which both the departments did not have. I have the best of Leeds microscopes, 3 microscopes, one Leeds microtome, another Leeds sledge microtome, and a battery of 16 knives, microtome knives, and a sharpener, razor sharpener. And because I was doing this as a one-man show. I was my own boss. I got whatever I want. Any chemical. In those days, alcohol was very difficult to get. Alcohol was at my disposal in kilos, in liters. From where I used to pump material to Crispin Devadas. He used to tell, no, government property, don't bring it here. I used to tell him, if this is not used by me, in my next license, the inspector will come. Out of 100 liters, you have used only 25 liters. Okay, 75 liters remains. So for the next year, we will give you only 25 liters. I don't want this to happen. If you don't want it, I am going to put it down the drain. I opened a bottle and set it down the drain here in front of him. He told no, don't listen. That was the teacher. Government property, don't bring it here. I know how to convince the gentleman. Clear? No fellow will allow precious things to go to waste. Well, after some time, one day when I came here to see him, he was very, very dull. I asked him why he was so dull and weak. Dr.Usman Ali, and Trivandrum. I resigned from here and moved. I told him, you had been patient, concentrating on work for over 15 years, and now why this dejection? Can you not endure this for one more year or 2 more years? If you go to another institution, you will be the junior most there. At least here, you are nearing the seniority. Then I told him, have you got a job? No, I don't search. I told, never. You get a job that will be satisfactory to you, then you go. See, next year, a miracle is going to happen. He just laughed. He was trying to make me happy. I told him, Usman Ali tells, it happens. Just to push the fellow. It was new, nothing other than imagination. And the next year, he got a call to do his degree in the United States. I don't know whether he told anybody here in his own department. He appeared in my laboratory and put the paper like this. I thought this fellow has prepared his resignation. And he told, Arappa, you know, what you know, what has happened. Then with fear I took it and saw. Then I extended my hand. He told, Usman Ali, moral support. That's what I got from you. When I was discussing my leaving the Madras Christian College, everybody was sympathetic, but nobody told me not to do it. I did it just because this gentleman was good to me. He recognized me as a student, and later on as a friend. I should support him. And wherever he is today, he will remain the same so-called short-tempered Crispin Devadas. That is what? His stamp. Clear. I'll tell you a clash that took place between me and my good teacher, Crispin Devadas. So I told you, you should remember this always. I am from the adjacent campus, College High School. Okay, Foolishly, I have quarreled with Dr. K.R. also, with BGM also. But that was when what? I was at fault. Just to cover up my deficiency, I was rough. But here, this happened when I was with the second MSc. One of my seniors, I think, Mary Koshi, she was not able to write her final examinations and she had to write her examinations with us. Clear? Next year. And we had Rajshekhar 11 students, is it? MSc. Plus Koshi, 12 people wrote the examination. During the study vacation, I used to take classes for 5-6 of my students. Dr. Rajshekhar was not there. Because he is a very studious fellow. I used to take classes in that corner room in the old park. One day, when I was taking class for 5-6 of my classmates, I had big went away. I thought somebody. And when I came out, an attendant came and called me. Devadas sir is calling me. I went. Man, don't do this. Do you think you are a teacher? Clear? Do you think you are a teacher? You are taking classes. I was a bit scared, but at the same time I did not want to show that I am scared. What's the wrong in it? He told, there is nothing wrong, man. The only wrong that will happen is you will either lose your university rank or a class or most possibly fail. Then I told him, sir, in my batch, no fellow fails. Here, I give you guarantee. I walked away. At that time he was telling, you will never become a teacher. I had told him, after I finish MSc, I am also a teacher like you. He told, you will never become a teacher. And that happened. I went to research, I was never a teacher. You know why I am telling you this instance is this. He has marked me for university first rank, first class, something like that. And he did not want his mark to go off the target. Here. So because he has cautioned me, just because of his chiding, apart from taking classes for my classmates, I concentrate on my own work also. And I got a decent ranking. You know, a teacher has to behave as a teacher, not simply lecture and go away. Clear? I think many of the students of today may be what? Great teachers of tomorrow. What was J.S. Singh? He was 1 year senior to me. He was cutting sections with me. Isn't it? He became a great professor. You have very great potential. You should emulate your good teachers. I am not telling emulate your teachers. Good teachers. And then I have an advice for you, which Crispin Devadas gave me. It is this. I also come from the same background like you. Before I came to the Madras Christian College, though I had taken my postgraduate degree elsewhere, I was scared of facing a class I'm taking a lecture. You know why? Because it was Tamil medium or Malayalam medium or some vernacular medium. So the first thing that you have to do is this. If you have spare time, try to hone up your English. If you feel that you are very good in English, written and spoken communication, try to do some foreign language course. Thank you.